We are Kentucky, Tennessee Living, and we are here at the Reelfoot National Wildlife Refuge Headquarters and Visitor Center. This center is part of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Department of the Interior, located at Reelfoot Lake in Tiptonville, Tennessee. Come along with us as we discover the history of Reelfoot Lake. Touring the neighborhood. The diverse plant and wildlife populations of Reelfoot National Wildlife Refuge can be overwhelming. One way to explore and understand this diversity is to visit different natural neighborhoods or habitats. Each habitat is distinctive, with its own assortment of plants and animal residents. At a minimum, Reelfoot National Wildlife Refuge encompasses 6 different habitats: open water, cypress swamp, marsh, bottomland forest, agricultural fields, moist soils, or mudflats. Some of these habitats vary seasonally. For example, moist soil units are typically flooded during the winter and dry during the summer. Others, such as the cypress swamps, have remained relatively unchanged for decades. Some plants and animals, fish and water lilies for example, live only within specific habitats such as open water. Others, such as bald eagles or panic grass, cross several different habitat types. Still others, such as cricket frogs or mallard ducks, use different habitat types at different phases during their lives. The miracle of migration. What is migration and why do animals do it? Put simply, animals migrate or travel from one place to another to find food and shelter from season to season. Typically, birds migrate to warmer places in the fall and winter and cooler places in the spring and summer. Like many aspects of the natural world, bird migration is complicated. Scientists continue to study bird navigational abilities, timing, and nutritional needs during migration. Most of the national wildlife refuges in North America are located within 4 migration flyways. In the modern world, these refuges are essential to bird survival. Just imagine, you're traveling thousands of miles, often at night. You have no maps, smartphones, restaurant guides, or hotel reservations. You are tired, hungry, and fearful about landing in a strange new place. Or worse, once a familiar place is now completely changed. You seek a reliable, safe stopover with food, shelter, and a space for your flock. For waterfowl, this stopover is often a national wildlife refuge. National wildlife refuges and other public lands preserve and maintain healthy supportive habitats for year-round migratory wildlife. Refuge habitats cannot be converted to home sites, roads, parking lots, industrial plants, or commercial timber tracts. These and other public lands help ensure that natural native ecosystems will remain. A landscape for the birds. The wildlife specialists who manage Reelfoot Lake National Wildlife Refuge follow an age-old guide, the Mississippi River. For thousands of years, wild ducks, geese, and other birds have relied on rich wetlands for feeding and resting as they migrated along the Mississippi Flyway. The wetlands flourished seasonally as the Mississippi River and its tributaries overflowed into the floodplains in the spring and then slowly drained down. Generations of wildlife still depend upon these seasonal changes to provide the right habitat, food, shelter, and space at the right time. In spring, wetland plants germinate and sprout, and the insect world comes alive with eggs, larvae, and new emerged adults. Waterfowl and other birds feed hungrily, consuming protein, calcium, and other nutrients to support spring egg production and nests full of hatchlings. By fall, birds' needs are different. They need high-calorie carbohydrates like acorns and grains to bulk up and store away fat for the long migration and winter temperatures ahead. Today, levees, canals, and property development and other human activities have changed the natural flow of the river. Reelfoot and other wildlife refuges actively manage water to mimic the natural fluctuation of the rivers, to provide habitat for migrating waterfowl, a balanced diet for birds. What if you really ate like a bird? As a duck, you could consume 10% of your body weight at one meal. For the average human, that's 16 pounds or 25 whoppers at one sitting. In fall and winter, your caloric count could soar with high energy carbohydrates. Reelfoot National Wildlife Refuge manages its wetlands and croplands to fulfill birds' dietary needs. The goal? To provide the best combination of foods for the seasonal and stages of birds' lives. The Eat Like a Bird diet. Protein. Birds consume vast quantities of natural protein, insects, crayfish, and other invertebrates, and a few kinds of plants. Carbohydrates. The Mississippi Alluvial Valley once contained 25 million acres of bottomland hardwood trees such as red oaks, which produced millions of pounds of acorns each year for waterfowl to eat. Today, only 5 million acres of bottomland hardwood forest remain. To make up for the loss of acorns, the refuge cooperates with local farmers to grow corn and other agricultural crops to provide birds the high-calorie carbohydrates they need. Vitamins, minerals, and fats. Wetland greens, mainly rushes and sages, contain vitamins, minerals, and small quantities of healthy vegetable fats. Calcium. Calcium is a critical ingredient for strong bones and for healthy eggshells. Birds find calcium by eating the shells of snails and other invertebrates. Food management at the Wildlife Refuge. Refuge management is all about providing habitat. Animals need 4 things for survival: food, shelter, water, and space. The basic goal of the refuge management is to provide 4 things in the correct proportions while at the same time balancing the human factor. Food. Refuge lands are managed to produce natural foods such as acorns, wild pellets, and smartweeds by manipulating water levels and alternating plant communities, rough mowing, disking, and harvesting timber. The refuge also plants corn and other crops to provide waterfowl with high-calorie carbohydrates. Shelter. Providing shelter or cover from weather and predators is an important part of the habitat management on the refuge. Timber management, for example, ensures that wildlife have proper escape cover. Water. Through the use of impoundments, water wells, and water control structures, the refuge manages water levels through the year to optimize habitat conditions. Space. Wildlife cannot survive without enough space. Space to hunt and feed. Space to make a nest. Space to roam. Space to hide. Reelfoot National Wildlife Refuge provides space animals need to thrive. Refuge, sanctuary, survival. Reelfoot National Wildlife Refuge provides sanctuary to waterfowl in late fall and winter. Much of the refuge is closed to the public during these times. The annual closing allows migratory birds safe, undisturbed places to spend the winter. Without sanctuary, many species may not sustain large enough populations to survive. Waterfowl and other migratory birds face ever-increasing hazards as they migrate and seek seasonal habitats. In both North and South Central America, vast tracts of natural habitat disappear every year. Habitat loss leaves birds no place to feed, mate, rest, or roam, no place to go. Working with other national wildlife refuges and state and local groups, Reelfoot National Wildlife Refuge actively surveys and tracks migratory bird populations to make sure the refuge is managing this critical sanctuary to help birds survive. We at Kentucky Tennessee Living want to thank you for watching our series on Reelfoot Lake in Tiptonville, Tennessee. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click that bell for notification. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky Tennessee Living as we bring to you the history of Kentucky and Tennessee.